about renters. Some people actually rent an apartment, but after a while,
Okay,
individuals decide that they prefer to live in a house. So if you could, let me listen to you read this article about renters.
okay. I will read. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm work about real estate markets.
Okay.
So Samantha, like many renters, is tired of renting. One reason is that her annual rent goes up like clockwork. Every year, her landlord raises the rent 5%.
Okay,
Another reason,
that word is going to be raises, and the word raises
raise.
means to increase. Every year her landlord raises the rent 5%. Could you read that sentence again?
Okay, every year her landlord raises the rent the rent 5%.
Mhm.
Let's go again. No.
That's better. Good.
Okay. Another reason is her neighbors. New neighbors always seem to be more inconsiderate than the ones who moved out. She said, "My first neighbors was a door slammer." I don't know what that.
Okay, a
Uh,
door slammer is when you open the door to enter into a building, all right? Sometimes you can just take your hand and slam the door. Bam! Kapow yow! And it makes a loud
okay.
noise. Or you can gently pull the door closed. But if you just slam the door, it makes a lot of noise. So that's called a door
Oh, okay.
slammer. Okay?
Door slammer. It's a name to the bad neighborhood. Maybe no
Yes,
to
well, it's
make noise.
yes, but it's not necessarily the neighborhood, but the neighbor, the person that lives next door to you in the apartment.
Okay.
Hmm.
Understand. Understood.
Great.
I always knew when he come home or left home. Okay.
Okay, and that word is came. I always knew when he came home or left home. Again?
Okay. I always knew when he came home or left home.
Good.
Af- After he moved out, a saxophonist moved in. A sax a saxophonist a saxophonist. He practiced 2 hours a day. On Saturday, his friends would come over, and I would. I had a while. I don't know.
I'd.
I'd I'd get to listen to whole band.
Okay, that is on Saturday, his friends would come over and I'd get to listen to a whole band.
Okay, on Saturday, his friends would come over, and I'd get to listen to a whole band.
Whole. Whole.
Whole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whole band.
Good.
I called the police, but they said saxophones playing is permitted in apartments for up to 4 hours a day because saxophone playing is job related. They told me I was lucky that the guy was only playing 2 hours a day.
Okay, let's stop and talk about this first paragraph. And I will read and listen to the way that I read. You'll notice that at all sentence ending, I will pause for about 3 seconds and I will pause for 2 seconds for commas. Samantha, like many renters, is tired of renting. One reason is that her annual rent goes up like clockwork. Every year, her landlord raises the rent 5%. Another reason is her neighbors. New neighbors always seem to be more inconsiderate than the ones who moved out, she said. My first neighbor was a door slammer. I always knew when he came home or left home. After he moved out, A saxophonist moved in. A saxophonist. He practiced 2 hours a day. On Saturday, his friends would come over and I'd get to listen to a whole band. I called the police, but they said saxophone playing is permitted in apartments for up to 4 hours a day because saxophone playing is job related. They told me I was lucky that the guy was only playing 2 hours a day. All right. Now,
Very good.
when you're listening to the way I read and following along with the punctuation will help guide when you raise your voice, lower your voice, or show some excitement over something that might be in the article. What I want to ask you now, are there any vocabulary words in this article other than saxophonist that might have given you some difficulty? Did you understand?
Saxophonist.
A saxophonist is one person who plays the musical instrument like a
I
horn. hmm
I know what saxophonist.
Great. Okay. Are there any other
But
words?
yeah. Uh, I'm. Let me see here. Landlord is the own who have the house, the owner.
The owner. Which
Okay,
sentence is that you're asking about? Which line are we looking at?
second line.
Okay, the
Every
landlord. Every year, her landlord. The landlord is the person who owns the property.
who owns the property. Okay,
Yes.
raises is to have increment in the rent
Yes, it's an increment in the rent, which means
in
that if
5%.
yes, if they were paying $500 last year, now they will pay 5% more than they did
Okay,
last year per month. Okay.
okay, I'm understood.
Okay.
Let me see other. I try to understand the the. Let me see how I can say that. I don't understand word by word. I understand
The
say,
concept. The
the
concept.
this concept. The
Okay.
concept. Okay,
All
I
right. So
try to understand the concept. I don't focus me in the word.
I don't
When
focus on every word, and that's perfectly
okay,
fine. That's perfectly fine now, because even as a reader for myself, I won't focus on every word. I get the general idea, but I read because it makes it smoother for understanding. So let's talk about this one paragraph. Samantha, who is Samantha? Samantha is someone that is renting. Is Samantha tired
okay,
of is Samantha tired of renting? Yes. In the very first sentence, it says she's tired of renting.
okay.
When she's tired of renting, that means she doesn't want to do it anymore.
Okay, I understand. I understand.
Okay. But what is the reason? What is one reason that she doesn't want to rent anymore? In the next sentence, it tells you why she doesn't want to rent anymore.
I have other word. I don't understand. Clockwork.
Clockwork. Just think of a clock that is on the wall that says it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, three
Okay,
o'clock.
I
Okay.
know. I know.
So now,
And what's clock mean
mhm.
and what work the both as I don't know.
Okay, so it's giving you a visual in your mind. When you look at a clock on the wall, you know that the time is constantly moving from 1 to 2
Okay,
to 3. And she's saying the same thing about her rent. Just like a clock changes, her rent changes every year. Uh,
okay.
Do you understand?
Every year have the change has the change of renters.
Well, the
Have
chain.
many renters.
Well, not so much
They-
that they have many renters, but the fact that her rent itself, the cost of renting goes up. Every
Okay.
year she has to pay more money. She has to pay 5% more every year.
Okay. Okay. Understood now.
Okay, great.
Understood.
Great. Now let's go to new neighbors always seem to be more inconsiderate. So each time she gets a new neighbor, they seem to be worse than the one she had. And this word inconsiderate means someone that doesn't take the time to be courteous. They're rude. The neighbor that she does have,
Okay.
the neighbor that she has right now, he slams the door. He
Okay.
slams.
But she buy one house can be the same problem.
No, maybe not. Because the people in her home, if she buys a home, it will be her family, it will be her children or her husband. She would probably not rent her rooms to anyone.
Okay.
But when you live in an apartment, you never can tell who your next door neighbor might be. It could be someone that plays a saxophone, someone that plays a piano, someone that beats a drum. You just never know. You just never know what you
Okay.
get. All right, so let's talk about let's talk about this a little bit more, and I'm going to give you some pointers to focus on for this lesson.